don't know. Maybe you're live now.
Well, we're live now. I did a whole intro and everything, and so now I just skipped the intro. But I did it for myself. Anyway,
it was a great intro.
I'm here with these three amazing creators, and we are going to be going over the. Now I just forget what it's called.
Keynote?
It was really good. Everyone should just believe me when I say that intro was amazing.
And somebody was talking in the comments.
Well, they can comment if it's a scheduled live. They can comment beforehand. They can just be waiting in the chat.
Oh,
It's okay.
So anyway, yeah, y'all missed my banging, intro, but oh well. These things.
It was great. It was fabulous.
Anyway, but we're here and we're going to be reviewing that. And I don't know if it's going to be echoey. And if it is echoey, I'll try to I will put on my headphones, but who knows if my headphones are going to actually work. I mean, what can I say? I've been having like tech troubles all afternoon, and you're just going to have to basically deal with it. So we're just going to see. So without further ado, this is a rough cut. This is not what it's going to look like when it goes up on the website. But for now, this is what we got because Moira was so kind to rush and get this out for me so that we could do this today. All right, so I'll let me share my screen.
Moira was just amazing all weekend. Just so present and
It was a great conference.
Moira is just phenomenal. Okay. So here we go. There's no audio yet.
I am William Keep, and welcome to the second annual virtual conference, Multilevel Marketing Consumer Protection Challenge. We are pleased to have hundreds of registrants.
It is kind of echoey. Sorry.
They will be joining us off and on as according to their in.
Okay, let me see about putting on my headphones. Thanks, Michelle. Give me just a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm sure we can keep ourselves company.
It's like very Linda Richmond. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm just going to use this free space that I have here on Alonda's channel to say, can we talk about how amazing Target's rainbow capitalism is on point this year? Their pride stuff is phenomenal this year.
You know what? Look at these cute things that I got at Walmart.
Oh, cute.
I know. They had some pretty good stuff too, but it wasn't, it was more mass produced, paraphernalia versus cute apparel.
Yeah, Target always comes in hot with the cute apparel. And one thing, obviously, that's always bothered me is this is such a tangent and nothing to do with multi-level marketing. So I apologize. But as a queer person, rainbow capitalism, the term for, large companies just taking advantage of pride to sell shit has always been so such a pet peeve of mine. But Target, I haven't looked into it. Don't quote me on the backup facts and everything. I don't know, but everything that they're marketing is this was designed and created by, and then it has a picture of the queer person of color that designed it, the trans person that created it, and things like that. So I thought it was just really cool.
That is cool.
Cool. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear it. That hopefully my headphones are working and everything. Here we go.
Interest?
Can y'all hear it?
Presenters in
much
8
better.
countries across 20 time zones, and we have representatives
Thank you.
Who have registered. Before we begin, there are just a few housekeeping items. We have 2 full days of presentations with an open discussion period for attendees at the end of each day. Attendees also have the opportunity to post questions during sessions 1 through 7. Questions will be presented during the scheduled Q&A for each of those sessions, except for session 3, where we will just take some questions immediately at the end of the session. And that's the interview with producer Bly Faust, by Pig and Faust. So you will likely hear this disclaimer more than once in the next 2 days, but I just want to put it out there now. Unless otherwise indicated, the views presented by conference participants are their views alone and do not represent any organization to which they may be affiliated. I want to thank the steering committee for organizing the sessions and each participant whose hard work makes this conference possible. We appreciate Munster Technological University in Ireland for hosting our website, ably maintained by Dr. Moira O'Sullivan. And a special thanks to the College of New Jersey, which is my home school, the School of Business there in the United States here, for hosting the event. Dean Catherine Jervis from the School of Business will give a greeting. Dean Jervis.
Thanks so much, Bill. Welcome to the second conference, as Dr. Keith just said, hosted by the College of New Jersey. I'm Catherine Jervis, Dean of the School of Business here. We are so excited to welcome about 590 participants from 29 countries to this conference that aims to improve consumer protection and reduce consumer harm within the multi-level marketing industry. Today and tomorrow, you will hear from regulators, prosecutors, former MLM distributors, social media, consumer advocates, researchers, educators, and journalists who are striving to educate the public about this issue. I offer my sincere thanks to Dr. William Keat, Professor of Marketing at TCNJ, and others who aided in organizing this very important event. I think it's going to be a very exciting time. So I welcome you all to this conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Stacy Bosley, who will introduce our keynote speaker. Stacy?
Thank you, Bill. And thanks to Dean Jervis, the College of New Jersey, and especially Bill for all the tireless work in helping to make this conference happen again this year. I think it's really incredible that this is free and accessible to everyone around the world who's interested in these issues. It is my pleasure to introduce Bonnie Patten, our keynote speaker for today. Bonnie did her undergraduate studies at the University of Pennsylvania and earned her JD at Boston University. She worked as a litigation attorney for many years and then became the executive director and co-founder of Truth in Advertising, or TINA.org, which was founded in 2012. TINA is a nonprofit organization working to fight against deceptive marketing practices on all their forms. Some of the areas of focus include deception in made in the USA marketing, negative option offers, product claims, influencer marketing, earnings claims, among many other areas. Bonnie was awarded the Consumer Leadership Award from the National Consumers League in 2019 for her work in this area. And she has co-authored or solo authored multiple scholarly articles, including the one that she's going to talk to us about today about self-regulation in multi-level marketing. And we are very pleased to welcome Bonnie to give our keynote address today.
Can you pause it real quick before she begins? Did any of you guys have a chance to read any of the comments that were submitted on the last day, like by people in the industry?
No.
There was at least one that I read, and probably a few that were specifically talking about the self-regulatory agency. I can't remember what it's called, and Bonnie will tell us in a minute, but I really had no idea that they existed, because like it doesn't seem like it's a regulated industry, right? And it's, I mean, in my opinion, not. But I learned so much from this speech, and I just wanted to know beforehand if you guys were like how familiar you were with the self-regulation or anything like that before we hear from Bonnie. Anything?
Zero. I'm familiar with the Direct Selling Association, and then I get the acronym wrong all the time, the offshoot of the Educational one too. I'm familiar
Right.
with both of that, and I know the DSA is a lobbying, organization, but overall, organizations that are part of the DSA, it is to regulate the industry, but it's really, in my opinion, it is just in words only. It doesn't mean they're actually doing anything to slap anyone's hand or to kick anyone
Right.
out.
It's like a shield. It's a shield of armor, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, we're regulated. You don't need to touch us. And that's basically what
Absolutely.
these comments were saying. The comment specifically that I read, I'll have to find it and show you guys after. But I mean, it was just like, this is a very well-regulated industry. These are the number of cases that we have sent to the FTC for investigation, and they haven't done anything about them. Was basically the comment.
They also, I talked with Dave about it on the podcast, and he talked about, I don't know, I forget the acronym, but it's through the Better Business Bureau, and it's like the DSA SA or something, which is like the direct sellers I forget what it is, but yeah, like they have all these different offshoots that they can claim, well, you don't need to regulate us with laws and rules because we're so good and wonderful. We're already doing it. And we've got the 30/70 rule, and like Amway said it's fine. So like, you should worry about like the real bad guys.
Yeah.
It's very much a red herring. So I'm on the West Coast and I missed this because I was sleeping. Sorry. And so I haven't even seen this, so I'm really interested to see what this is. I heard a lot of really amazing things. I can imagine it was early for you.
No, it's even earlier for you.
Because it's like you're not doing anything for any of the problems that we see in the industry, because you're part of the problem of the industry, and you are there to shield and guard the industry and to promote the industry to the politicians. Yeah. That's what you're really doing. But you're pretending. It's like you're playing dress up. Like, look, we're safeguarding people. You're really not. Yeah.
Right.
So, okay. Are y'all ready to continue?
Yes.
Okay. We go.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bosley, for that kind introduction and all the great work that you're doing. And thank you to Dr. Keep and the College of New Jersey School of Business for hosting this conference. There's much that I'd like to cover this morning, so let me get right to it. More than 50 years ago, the National Trade Association for the Direct Selling Industry, known as the Direct Selling Association, or DSA, established a code of ethics, which it describes as a robust series of policies that protect independent salespeople and consumers. This self-regulatory code has been touted by the DSA as a set of stringent guidelines for earning representation and product claims. The association frequently states as follows. The DSA has continually asserted that it takes a hardline stance on mandating code adherence, and over the years has repeatedly used the existence of the code as a shield to deflect criticism. Here's Tom Donahue, former president and CEO of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, explaining how the DSA Code of Ethics solved issues of deception in a 2013 DSA video.
Years ago, the direct selling industry in the United States faced a problem. And the problems were companies that were not playing by the rules. Same thing that's happened then around the world. The industry stepped up, created its own code of ethics, created training and programs, demanded people play by those rules or not be accredited or not be accepted in their associations here and around the world. And the results speak for themselves.
Okay, I just have to stop it right there for myself before my head explodes.
The results speak for themselves, Alonda. Haven't you seen the results? They're amazing.
The training. For those of you who don't know, I'm an instructional designer, which means I design and develop training stuff, and I've been doing that for many years. So whenever I hear about training stuff, it just instantly makes me want to, like punch someone. But all of these companies, they love to we're a member of the DSA. And they're so proud of it. So see, we follow this. No, you don't. We all know they don't. We all cover this stuff. You're not following anything.
Yeah, the code of ethics is ridiculous. It's not it's literally just loopholes. It's just literally loopholes. Absolutely ridiculousness. And as soon as I saw this guy, I was like, "Oh, you're in charge? No surprise there."
Old white guy. Yeah.
Just rickety, just waiting, just, yes. Just why is this person in charge of making the rules that affect these people here and all of these people in the comments? Like, I don't understand. This guy doesn't look like he's being affected by the rules he's making.
And kind of in a way, the DSA to me comes off as like, I'm trying to think of a real world example, but all that's coming to mind are like fantasy novels and movies and stuff where like
like Gargamel.
There's like an organization that they're really the bad guys, but everyone has to pay them to not attack them, right?
The mafia?
Yeah, mafia. Exactly.
I was like, you're describing the mafia right now.
Yeah, you're right. That's the real world example. Good job. But yes, the DSA is totally the mafia. Okay, in my opinion, allegedly, in my experience, the DSA is the mafia.
It's big pyramid. The big pyramid.
Yes,
mafia.
hashtag big pyramid, which has over 100 uses on Instagram, but not over 500 yet. I know this because I use it all the time, and it tells you how many times it's been used. And I'm pretty sure that probably 100 of them were me. We're trying to get this trending. Come on, hashtag big pyramid.
I would like to say that the code of ethics that they all follow, it's also an honor code, right? It's like trick-or-treating when you're not home and leaving out the basket of candy and hoping that everybody just takes their fair share. So it's a total honor system thing. And a lot of times, one of the rules in this ethics and these Amway rules, like the 70-30 rule, it's just a check mark on the buying screen, and you can't click like buy now until you check mark the box. It's like, yeah, I promise I've sold 70%. And it's an honor system. People are like, yeah, no, whatever. I don't care. Bye. Like they're bypassing these safety measures that are self-regulatory. So it's very obvious that it doesn't work.
This is what I'm going to make my analogy for. I have 2 teenagers at home. One is about to be 15. The other one is 16. And I have a chore chart on the refrigerator. And each child has particular things they're supposed to do each day of the week. And they know what they are, and we'll give them checklists. We give them verbal reminders. I mean, it's like, I cannot tell you how many different ways we're doing parades. We're doing everything we possibly can that these are the things you need to do. And it's like, as soon as we're out of the way, they're like, thank goodness the adults are out of here. They're like, woohoo, party on. And then just ignore it. And that's what I feel goes on here. It's like, see, we have this. This is what you do. And everyone's like, yep, that's what we're going to do. And then they're like, no one's looking, and just ignore. So that's what I have. All right, you guys ready to go on? Because we've gotten a whopping 7 minutes into this, and we all have a lot to say.
Those results include DSA member company Vima settling FTC charges alleging that it was a pyramid scheme in 2016. At that time, the DSA issued a press release stating, every member of DSA is required to abide by DSA's code of ethics as a condition of membership. There are no exceptions to the rule. In 2017, when former DSA member company Legal Shield criticized the association for harboring pyramid schemes, the DSA shot back that we are always working to strengthen our code of ethics and the transparency of actions taken to enforce it. When MLM clothing LuLaRoe was sued for being a pyramid scheme by the state of Washington in 2019, the DSA's president made a statement saying, sadly, not all companies in the direct selling channel are DSA members, and non-members like LuLaRoe do not accept, as members are obliged to, the requirements of DSA membership, and our code. And this year, after the release of the docuseries Lula Rich, the
Yeah, you were
DSA
muted.
president tried to distance DSA companies from non-members like LuLaRoe, stating, the DSA requires all DSA members to adhere to the stringent DSA code of ethics. Unfortunately,
Pause,
the
pause,
DSA's
pause, pause.
rhetoric does not and never has
Roberta is about
aligned
to
with how it
Pause, pause,
explode.
pause, 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 pause. You said I was supposed to say pause.
I can see you fidgeting like a little kid who needs to go to the bathroom. She's like freaking out.
Oh, this is like one of my favorite examples of the DSA being full of shit.
No
I
wonder.
I love, well, here's the thing, is like, and MLMs do it too. They love to use these like as examples of like how good we are. We're so good. Because, oh, see why? Because the DSA is like, see why LuLaRoe is in trouble? Because
'Cause they
they're
weren't
not a
paying us.
member of the DSA. And
Like
because
the
they're not a
mafia.
member of the DSA, they don't follow this very strict code of ethics we all abide by. And had they wouldn't be in such hot water like they are today. And it's the same where like Herbalife gets in trouble and they're like, or Advocare when it got shut down. Well, see, they were a pyramid scheme, and it's a good thing they caught them. And we're definitely not, because if we were, we would have also been shut down. And so it's just like that, but on the back end of like, like it's still like not MLM's fault. Like so, I don't know. It's just a really great example of
that
like
shop that got broken into and robbed. That shop owner isn't part of the mafia, so like they don't have.
they should have had better glass in their windows, and maybe it wouldn't have broken so easily when people threw rocks at it.
Ooh, yeah. And I just
know?
want to say on one of Bonnie's first slides, or when she was showing the code of ethics thing, the DSA says there are no exceptions to the rule. Can I just say there are no exceptions when everything is the exception. Like if all of them are following the same rule and it's just not necessarily what you just stated, then sure, there are no exceptions. They're all pyramid schemes.
Or if they're all ignoring them, and just kind of like doing whatever. It's the wild, wild west, but we have in place the illusions, Michael, that, we're doing all of these things.
Illusions.
So, again, I just feel like, we're playing dress up, we're playing pretend. It's an illusion, just like everything else in MLM. It's all an illusion. Shall we continue, ladies?
Companies operate. In 2016, Tina.org began an examination of DSA member companies' compliance with truth in advertising laws. Within 2 years, we had cataloged more than 5,000 examples from more than 130 DSA member companies using deceptive marketing claims in violation of the Code of Ethics. Since then, Tina.org has continued to collect thousands of examples of DSA member companies violating advertising laws. Here's just one example.
And there are more women making over 6 figures a year than any other company.
I've been in Mary Kay for 16 months. I was making a 6-figure income at the age of 24.
She tells me that she made $9,000 in 1 month, just from squirting tubes.
2.5 years later, after starting my business, I was able to leave my full-time job because I had doubled my income.
1 year after signing my agreement, I was able to walk away from that corporate job.
A year later, I was able to quit my full-time
Just from
job.
squirting tubes.
These are
So I did the
kind of
math
data
really quick. Pause. I did the math really quick on, they said they found 10,000 examples over 2 years. Is that what they said? 10,000? Or was it not that much? I have ADHD. I heard what I wanted to hear. Anyway, if they said 10,000, that's 13 examples a day, including holidays, weekends, 13 examples of deceitful income claims. And if she said 5,000, just cut that number in half. But that's a lot a day for 2 years.
I feel like every company does that all day, every day. So I don't feel like that's that many.
No, I know, but like I'm saying, like that was what they were able to just very easily find.
Right.
Like that's a lot.
I feel like all of those claims they were making are all claims that we hear and see every day
All
with
the time.
MLMs.
Yeah.
So
Just from
And
squirting
what
the
is with that-
tubes is my new favorite way of describing how to work for Mary Kay and make a 6-figure income. Jamie, I just want to say
Squirting
thank
all
God for
over.
Tina. Yes.
Yes,
what was with that
absolutely.
Mary Kay? Like what was with that Mary Kay song? It was a bop.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a total tangent, but today I got invited to somebody's tickle trunk.
Oh,
Great.
what? What? What do you do at a tickle trunk?
That
I think
sounds
it was
like
pure romance.
don't go
I'm
there.
not really sure. But I was
Especially
like,
if they're squirting
Don't
tubes on
take
the tickle
candy.
trunk.
Don't take candy if they're offering it. Don't let them squirt tubes on you or recruit you into a pyramid scheme.
but the thing that I thought about is like, there was a time when groups on Facebook was a new thing, and joining someone's group was kind of cool because it was new. There was a time when a Beachbody fitness group on Facebook was new, and so it was novel. There was a time when makeup groups were new and novel, but we're talking, this is 2022. And all of these things are janky AF, and people can smell it. And I'm sitting here going, have you not looked at my profile? Do you not see all my anti-MLM shit? Because
Right. Tell me you didn't watch my content without telling me you didn't watch any of my content. It was like yesterday when I put up a new video about cognitive dissonance, the in the intro of the, like within the first 5 minutes of the video, I said, I'm not going to really be doing reaction videos anymore. So don't expect that on my channel going forward. And like, that was just part of a bigger intro. Someone comments on my video and says, this was a great video. Please react to this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you didn't watch it, but thanks.
wow. Yes, Mazzy, it was Tickle Trunk. And I mean,
What company was it for?
I don't know, because I didn't really look very close. I just saw that I was invited.
I am
to
so
a-
confused. Like, what is a tickle trunk?
I don't, you guys, do you want me to go look and find out what a damn tickle trunk is? Because
I think Jessica's on it. Jessica's on it. She's like, I will not rest until I know what this is.
What is a tickle trunk? Yes, it was just like I just saw it. I was like, I can't. And what was I watching? I was watching 02 Summer. So I was like, you know what? I'm going back to binging my Netflix. So I was like, I can't be bothered with your tickle trunk.
Are you?
Anyway,
It's like
sure that it's not.
It's like a LuLaRoe thing.
Is it? Because it says
It's
the
clothes.
female equivalent of a spank bank.
No. You're on the wrong website, Jessica. TickleTrunkShop.com. The Tickle Trunk Shop.
Oh, it's an actual.
.com.
It's an actual company. Okay.
Yeah, they've got.
it was like
They've got clothes. They've got clothes and accessories and pleasure products.
See, that's why I told you pure romance. So I wasn't far off. Pleasure products.
They sell. Okay,
But I don't know if this is actually an MLM or if this is what it is. Like, I don't know. But this is what I found in my quick little search. But I don't know what Jessica found.
Personal pleasure. You can,
mine says Tracy's dog is sold there. If you know what Tracy's dog is, I'm just saying. I don't know what Tracy's dog is.
I don't, but this comment, Jessica's gonna have to delete her search history after this. Is spot on.
No, I'm the one that's going to need to delete my search history. I know what Jessica's dog is or whatever it is now. Tracy's dog. Tracy's dog is a toy store. I didn't click any farther. That's all I needed to know.
You didn't know what Tracy's? I don't know what Tracy's dog is.
I don't know what that is.
Wait, Tracy's dog is something too?
It's a toy store.
Who's Tracy? Get her
I
dog
know,
out
but
of
her
here.
dog has a sex toy store.
Oh,
Weird.
let me look this up. I'm scared.
My
I think-
upline is Tracy's dog. Okay, I should probably not put that on a shirt, right? I haven't Googled it yet.
I feel like we should just hit play.
I feel like I'm the only one who knows what Tracy's dog is because my husband was deployed for a year. Okay.
.org
Oh,
has
so I
collected
see
over
what
the
you were
past
saying.
9 years, which makes it readily apparent that the DSA Code of Ethics has been used to give the appearance of self-policing, while the trade association has instead served the private interests of its members at the public's expense. Despite the fact that the DSA boasts that its Code of Ethics ensures standards of conduct more stringent than the law, for years, member companies have maximized their profits by violating advertising laws while simultaneously touting the benefits of the Code of Ethics.
The Code of Ethics is the foundation of DSA and the key to what differentiates DSA member companies from others.
It truly is the backbone of being a part of the association. When you have a code of ethics and you post it on your website, that's just like having a gold seal, a gold standard of how business should be done.
It shows
if you
the
follow
marketplace
them.
that we stand for a very high level of consumer protection.
In 2016, Tina.org investigated those.
I do want to point out that one woman said how business should be done. Didn't say how business is being done, but should be done, which I found that just interesting word choice.
Those gold standard DSA member companies that were selling nutritional supplements, and found that 97% were making claims that the company's products could treat, cure, prevent, alleviate the symptoms of, or reduce the risk of developing diseases or disorders. Deceptive marketing claims included being able to cure cancer, prevent HIV/AIDS, and treat Alzheimer's, among others. At that time, Tina.org cataloged more than 2,000 instances of such inappropriate health claims over 60 DSA member companies and notified each of them, as well as the DSA and its ethics code administrator. The next year, The next year, 2017, Tina.org investigated how DSA member companies marketed their business opportunities. The inquiry revealed that more than 97% of DSA member companies were making deceptive earnings claims to recruit distributors and convince low-level distributors to stay with the companies. Claims range from being able to obtain financial freedom, being able to quit your day job, stay home with your children, and make unlimited income. Tina.org cataloged more than 3,000 examples of DSA member companies and their distributors making atypical earnings claims on their website and social media channels, and notified each of the companies, as well as the DSA and its ethics code administrator. To date, no public action has ever been taken by the DSA or its code administrator against any company highlighted by a Tina.org investigation. Although companies have taken down or modified inappropriate claims identified by Tina.org over time, the response to external pressure has not resulted in any transformative change in the way that these companies recruit or market their products and services. In fact, not only has the DSA and its member companies been unresponsive to third-party pressures to change their overall deceptive marketing tactics, but they have staunchly guarded their own vested interest in preserving the status quo, even in the face of repeated complaints. Unwilling, to fulfill its theoretical promise of legal compliance within its own ranks and facing mounting scrutiny, the DSA announced at the beginning of 2019 the establishment of a new third-party, independent, self-regulatory entity known as the Direct Selling Self-Regulatory Council, or DSSRC, to be administered by the Council of Better Business Bureau. Here's how the director of the DSSRC explained it on a BBB National Programs podcast.
There's this industry consumer advocacy organization called Truth in Advertising, better known as TINA, that issued this report in 2017 on product and income claims in the direct selling industry. So I think the report, while it may have overreached somewhat, the real utility of the report was that it really galvanized the thought leaders in this industry and helped them recognize that they had to proactively address some of these issues. You know, it was interesting, Mary, on the heels of this report from TINA, then acting FTC Chair Maureen Olhausen addressed the Direct Selling Association in November 2017 and strongly encouraged the industry to consider what you were talking about, effective third-party self-regulation. And this was definitely a real seminal moment. And, you know, there was some written guidance for the ML industry that was published by the FTC right on the heels of that report that really helped frame some of these issues that could be addressed in the context of meaningful, independently administered self-regulation. So it was really these sequence of events which led to the creation of the Direct Selling Self-Regulatory Council, or DSSRC.
The council is exclusively funded by the DSA, but the DSSRC was created to monitor claims disseminated by the entire US direct selling industry, not just DSA members. Limited in scope and resources, the DSSRC only examines income claims and products claims. Because of the overwhelming failure of the DSA and its code administrator to enforce adherence to the law by member companies, the industry environment into which the DSSRC has entered
Can you pause
is
for
one
just
in
a second?
which direct selling companies are collectively using
Gladly.
So, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't want to make this like way too long, but I just have so many things to say. Okay, so the DSSRC is what I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
obviously. So that's basically like if the government was like, okay, well, the mafia is basically running this whole city. How are we going to police it? Oh, I know. Let's have let's have the mafia be the police.
Right. They can police
Problem
themselves.
solved.
That makes sense.
Because so like they're set up and assigned to deal with regulation of all MLMs, but they're completely funded by the DSA, which not all MLMs are part of. What do you think is going to happen? Like, obviously they're not going to give the same protection to the companies, in my opinion, that are not part of the group that is literally funding the council.
Yeah. It's all, I mean, it's just also very shady, you know? And they try to make it sound like it's also upstanding and that they're doing everything to be compliant and they're protecting citizens. It's like, no, all you're doing, I just go back to, it's an illusion. It's the land of pretend, just like MLM is to begin with. It's all pretend. And this is just an extension of that.
Deceptive marketing to pursue their own self-interest at the expense of consumers and the public good. As such, it appears that, much like the DSA Code of Ethics, the council was created by the DSA to shield the industry from further scrutiny rather than to increase accountability or protect consumers from deception. A TINA.org analysis of the first 30 months of this new self-regulatory program in action further supports this contention. This is not to say that there are no benefits to this new self-reg entity. The speed of action, elimination of deceptive claims, and flexibility in addressing changing market circumstances exemplify the positives of the DSSRC. Yet, a more thorough analysis reveals that these positive attributes have been tarnished by a flawed process and an industry that simply is not committed to self-regulation. Since April 2019, when the DSSRC began monitoring direct selling practices and accepting complaints from outside sources, there have only been 3 sources for investigations. A single complaint filed by an MLM company after it was the recipient of a DSSRC inquiry, 10 complaints filed by Tina.org, and the rest, more than 96%, resulting from the DSSRC's own self-monitoring. In my opinion, the failure of the industry to police its own ranks demonstrates that the industry is not invested in using this new program to promote the well-being of the public at large. While MLMs will not hesitate to sue one another when it comes to issues relating to distributor poaching, and direct selling companies have no problem filing lawsuits against their own distributors, the industry's apparent refusal to out those responsible for deceptive marketing tactics is telling. The most likely rationale? MLMs simply aren't willing to regulate their own behavior, adhering to the proverb, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. It is possible to quantify the industry's lack of participation in the self-regulatory process because the DSSRC provides the source for each of its inquiries in its published decisions. However, this is where transparency with the process ends. As of October 2021, 80% of DSSRC investigations ended in what it terms administrative closures, which neither disclose the name of the culpable company nor specifically identify the inappropriate marketing material. As a result, the vast majority of wrongdoers identified by the DSSRC are never subject to any sort of a public accountability, which runs counter to the council's stated mission and must negatively impact consumer and governmental confidence in this self-regulatory process. According to the DSSRC, it issues these secretive closure decisions if the direct selling company in its initial response commits to discontinue or significantly modify the claims at issue. This glaring design defect in the process permits wrongdoers to remain anonymous, regardless of how egregious or pervasive their misconduct may have been. At a minimum, there should be a requirement of public disclosure of legal breaches and the corresponding potential of adverse publicity, regardless of how quickly an MLM company may cover its tracks after being caught. Not surprisingly, this tactic of rewarding fast actors with non-disclosure deals has done nothing to persuade the industry to comply with truth in advertising laws. Moreover, it is conceivable that this lack of transparency was baked into the program by the DSA to serve as a cloak for the discriminatory treatment of non-DSA member companies in an attempt to advantageously distinguish DSA companies from non-members in this highly competitive industry. The criteria for issuing an administrative closure, committing to discontinue or significantly modify claims at issue, provides the council with tremendous discretion in determining when secretive closures are appropriate. Of all the inquiries opened by the DSSRC between January 2019 and July 2021, 64% were of DSA member companies. However, of the case decisions published between January 2019 and October 2021, in which the direct selling company is publicly disclosed, DSA members accounted for only 18% of these decisions. These data suggest, at a minimum, that the DSSRC subjectively believes that most DSA member companies under investigation are more willing to do the right thing in order to avoid public exposure than our non-DSA member companies, even though there is no evidence to support such a belief. For an industry that has been marred by its inability to comply with the law, direct selling would benefit from rigorous and remedial oversight. However, the DSSRC provides a weak form of self-regulatory accountability. In addition to problems with transparency, the council has no ability to issue any sort of penalties or restrictions. It doesn't even have the power to expel member companies from the DSA if they refuse to adhere to the law or violate the code of ethics. Although the DSS...
I have a question for you guys. If the companies were published publicly and they weren't held anonymously, do you think that would have an impact at all? And if so, what impact do you think that might have?
I feel like they're already publicly like making those income claims and stuff. So by making it public who is doing this, it's just solidifying what we already know. So I don't think it would change much.
I would love to see it though. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know why
yeah.
I don't know why they can get away with not telling people like who it is and who's breaking the rules. Other than because they want to hide that information from anybody who might be in that company going, wait a second, that's happening to me too, which is deceptive in and of itself. So I think really if they really want to, say, hey, we are good and this does work for people, then why are you hiding information? Why are you not publishing the information? Why are you not doing all of the things that would make it very transparent, including which companies are breaking the rules, if we're really trying to hold everybody accountable and hold everybody up to the standard of ethics?
Yeah, and they can say all day that they're doing these things, but if they're not showing us the proof, how are we supposed to just take their word for it?
It makes me wonder, if they were disclosing the companies, journalists would be able to go and pull that and write articles about it and be able to point out, look, Isagenix has 35 times within this 1 year, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to have that kind of publicity.
Well, yeah. No, I think it could be compared to the Catholic Church not wanting to disclose complaints against priests. It's the public image, and it's kind of the same thing.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Hey, Dave.
Is it possible to make it full screen on Vimeo? Let me see. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Let's continue.
That looks way better.
Think about making it full
Yeah,
screen.
I was trying to read.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, this is much better. Awesome.
To both signify and facilitate compliance with the law. With no legal or binding force, it can be and is ignored by much of the industry. The only weapon the DSSRC has to entice companies to comply with the law is the threat of referral to government agencies, which has generally been the FTC. To date, the council has referred 16 MLMs to the FTC. Notably, none of them are DSA member companies.
Which they pointed out in their comment.
Has yet publicly pursued.
Which that goes to what you were saying, Michelle.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were pointing out in their comment. So supporting this regulatory agency, saying, we've referred 16 cases and the FTC didn't do anything about it. So I don't know what the FTC expects to do now.
Yeah.
that we're not already doing. And I'm like, I'm just reading it like 16 companies.
That are not part of your mafia.
That the FTC needs to make changes to, but 16 companies, come on. You're proud of that? There's so much more going on.
And as a result of this inaction, it appears that more companies faced with a threat are defying the council and playing the odds that the FTC will do nothing. That said, it is important to note that to date, the vast majority of companies have engaged with the DSSRC. Nevertheless, There is no reason to believe that DSSRC engagement by companies caught and identified by the council is any assurance that these MLMs will comply with the law in the future. Of the 50 companies reported in case decisions published as of October 2021, all of them that remained in business as direct selling companies continued to engage in deceptive marketing after their DSSRC case was closed. Here's a video Tina.org made after one such DSSRC case decision.
With 1,710,000 Miss Crystal Bowles, with $124,963, Miss Jen Kelly. Nikki Hughes, with $106,497, Miss Kate Berry.
Right now, my override checks are more money than people actually make in an entire year. I make it in a month.
So I replaced my full-time income my first year with Pure Romance. Living the dream is being able to pay your daughter's student loan.
Provide for them. You know, we're taking some amazing vacations because of Pure Romance.
Pure Romance spoils us. They take really good care of us.
My husband and I were purchasing a home, and we're actually having it built and customized just the way we want, and it's all because of Pure Romance.
It's my understanding that at the behest of the DSSRC, Pure Romance did ultimately take down these deceptive income claims. But these ongoing violations support the contention that recurrences are the rule and not the exception. With the industry primarily focused on advancing its own self-interests, it appears to be using the DSSRC to counter charges of wrongdoing as it simultaneously attempts to ward off more meaningful industry oversight. Let me provide you with a more recent example. Earlier this year, Tina.org investigated Arizona-based MLM company Forever Living and identified almost 6,000 atypical income claims being used to promote the MLM's business opportunity, all published by this multi-billion-dollar DSA member company and its high-level executives. Marketing claims range from being able to earn a full-time income, achieve financial freedom, travel the world, quit one's job, and provide for one's family during a pandemic. Right on its website, the company tells consumers that starting a business with Forever gives you the potential to earn a significant income stream, have time and freedom to build your life according to your dreams, and allows you the flexibility to start part-time and build a full-time income. The company reiterates such claims in Google Ads, on various social media platforms, on its mobile app, in promotional booklets, and at various events and rallies. Forever Living makes these deceptive income claims despite the fact that 89% of its distributors do not receive any meaningful compensation or earnings. The compilation of thousands of marketing claims that violate the law highlights the fact that the DSA Code of Ethics operates merely as window dressing for companies like Forever Living to hide behind as they manipulate consumers and distributors with illegal marketing tactics. Here's a clip from a Forever Living video that can be found on the company's website today.
As you build your business with Forever, you will become familiar with all of these incentives and opportunities, such as our Forever to Drive program, which can help you earn money for that brand new car. Global travel with our Eagle Manager Retreat and our Global Rally incentive. We even have a very generous Chairman's Bonus program that gives you access to tens of millions of dollars in annual rewards. This opportunity is everywhere. We sell our products in over 160 countries. Our business spans the globe and allows you to build your team wherever life takes you. The opportunity can be as big as your dream and as rewarding as you're willing to work for. When you start your business with Forever, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Our company leadership and successful business owners are always able to provide support, training, and encouragement. We have industry-leading products and a proven record of success. We will be paying millions in bonuses next year. The only question that is left is whose name goes on that check.
He has this
Historically,
ambiguously
Forever Living
foreign
has
accent
opposed
like
more
a
of a
Bond
robust
villain.
regulatory
Yeah.
I said he has this ambiguously foreign accent like a Bond villain. Like, where's he from?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of bizarre. But I also wanted to say about this, like, to me, like, this is so normal. Like, there's nothing that jumps out about this to me as like extra special, spicy, scammy, whatever. Like, this is what literally all of the companies are putting out there. Like, there is nothing special about this, but it's just like an example.
I will say the thing that did jump out to me is the use of the word success.
Yes.
How are you defining success? Because you just said success, but what does that
Right.
look like? What does that mean?
Again, very ambiguous. And at the end, when he was like, next year we will be giving out millions in bonuses,
Yeah.
whose name will be on the check? Like, he's projecting.
It's so manipulative.
like,
it's implanting
it's so loaded.
into
Absolutely.
your brain. Like, that is brainwashing. And I have been listening to Cultish again, so that's like fresh on my mind. But
Maybe East Coast Australian. I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed like
it could be South African though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just ambiguous.
Yeah.
But listening to all of these marketing things like this, where they're trying to literally lure you in. I just want to punch someone because I'm like, you're
all part of it.
Jack off. I just get so annoyed, and I'm going like, okay, these people they're actors being paid, or they work for the company. And if you're an actor being paid for this, you go home going like, man, I need a hot shower because that was just really icky. Or are they okay with it? I don't know.
Right. There is that. Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, like, I can also like imagine being sucked into this. This is appealing marketing. Like, it's really
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, whenever I watch any of these things, I mean, it's like it feels good. You feel the draw, because it hooks you emotionally.
That's what I was just thinking about that yesterday. Who was it that in their presentation had at the MLM conference that had clips from like conferences?
I think Jason did.
Yeah, Jason.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Because he was you were comparing it to the It Works conferences, and it's like exactly the same, right? Like, these are all the same thing. But I forgot where I started going with that, but let's end it on that. Everything is the same.
Happens to me all the time. I almost feel like,
I mean, it was there, it's not anymore.
As I talk about like the deceptive income stuff, the deceptive marketing, I really feel like those conferences, that's all a bunch of, again, illusions, Michael. That's all deception.
Illusions. I just remembered. Yeah, it was that the feeling, like, he played a clip from that, and like the guy was like, and you all just got goosebumps, and me listening to it, I got goosebumps. I got a chill, and I was like, this is weird. Like, okay, this works on anyone. These are like, not, I want to say like scientific facts. Like, these are proven methods of changing the way people, feel.
Yeah.
Lots of NLP.
Yes, NLP. Exactly. And it's like, you can tell how masterly it's done, because it affected me that way. And I'm literally at, listening to a panel in the middle of the Saturday afternoon, like, and I'm obviously so anti MLM. I don't believe any of this stuff. And if it was able to have that effect on me just listening to it physically, that's just master.
All of
NLP.
those people in the crowd, they're all thinking that's going to be me up there.
Yes. And that's just so scary to me that it's so effective.
Yep. Agree.
Site telling the FTC in 2006 that we believe that a better solution is to encourage or mandate the type of procedural safeguards companies like Forever Living have implemented over the past decades. And in recent comments to the FTC concerning the agency's proposal to establish a rule outlawing the use of deceptive income claims, like you just viewed, the DSA argued that the very existence of the DSSRC should result in regulatory leniency for companies like Forever Living. In its comment, the DSA stated, the FTC could add a process whereby if a company is in an industry subject to self-regulation, then there would be an option for a safe harbor under certain prescribed circumstances, or lower damages if enforcement proceedings take place. If the DSA were truly committed to self-regulation, then it would be championing stronger and more direct regulatory accountability of the direct selling industry by the FTC, not less. This is not to say that FTC enforcement of the direct selling industry has been particularly robust or effective over the past 40 years, as deceptive marketing claims have become the norm within the industry on the agency's watch. But in the case of the direct selling industry, where rampant deception has been the industry norm, self-regulation cannot alleviate the need for government oversight and accountability. Quite to the contrary, the DSSRC will never operate effectively without a strong infusion of deterrence-based enforcement from the FTC. Scholarly research also makes clear that the FTC has a critical role to play in determining whether or not the DSSRC will ultimately be effective. Punitive enforcement, or at least the possibility of it, appears to be essential to the ultimate success of regulatory schemes that incorporate self-regulation. Research has shown that self-regulatory initiatives tend to fail in the absence of external deterrence pressures like the possibility of sanctions. Former acting FTC chair Maureen Olhausen echoed these principles when she told the DSA in 2017 that effective self-regulation, of course, takes commitment and buy-in from the industry. The FTC also has a role it can play in building up effective self-regulation. The most effective frameworks are those backstopped by robust yet judicious use of government regulatory powers. When there is the threat of government intervention, many companies are likely to join and adhere to self-regulatory principles. There can be no doubt that a rule prohibiting the use of deceptive earnings claims in marketing could have a profound impact on the direct selling industry, including a motivational impact for MLM companies to reevaluate the potential benefits of participating in a self-regulatory process. But that possibility is years away. In the meantime, the FTC's recent pivot to resurrecting its penalty offense authority, which has the potential of effectively punishing wrongdoers close to $47,000 per violation, may provide the enforcement authority necessary to exert sufficient external pressures to incentivize the industry to consider embracing potent self-regulation. As a former FTC commissioner and the current director of the Bureau of Consumer Protection explained, because civil penalties are available through the Penalty Offense Authority, this changes the calculus for firms in ways that increase compliance while reducing the need to bring enforcement actions for similar conduct over and over again. To that end, in October 2021, the FTC notified more than 630 MLM companies, including every member company of the DSA, that if they deceive or mislead consumers about potential earnings, the FTC won't hesitate to use its authority to target them with large civil penalties. If the commission follows through with its threat and takes decisive action against direct selling companies making deceptive earnings claims, the industry will have no option but to take notice and re-examine the potential benefits of participating in the self-regulatory process. Ultimately, the issue is whether the DSSRC will facilitate adherence to the law or undermine it, as the DSA Code of Ethics has historically done. What is clear is that the oversight of the direct selling industry cannot be left to its trade association. The FTC must act, and if it exacts costly penalties from MLM wrongdoers, it will not only deter others from engaging in the same conduct, but it may also motivate the industry to reconsider the possible benefits of robust and transparent self-regulation and save the DSSRC from a feudal existence. And with that, I thank you for your time, and we'll turn it back over to Dr. Keith.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Wow. How amazing is Bonnie?
Yeah, she's great. No, yeah, that was very powerful. That end part was very powerful. It makes me like think it's so ridiculous to allow a pyramid scheme to police itself. Just, I mean, let's use Orwellian doublespeak and switch the words back to what it really is, and it's a pyramid policing itself. And of course, you're never gonna see any, like, it's ridiculous. I do like some of the suggestions about maybe opening up the advisory board again and penalizing people. And I also think, like we were saying earlier, no more anonymity for these
Yes.
violations. No more.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, no, because I don't know. It just it encourages this atmosphere. As someone commented earlier, where it's like you either pay us or you don't get the protection of the anonymity.
Right.
And that's like what, extortion?
It's a racket.
It's a racket. Stop that
It
racket.
is.
It's a racket. I don't know why any of these MLM things aren't all RICO cases. Like, I mean, I just don't understand. They're all like, why is this excluded aside from money? I mean, I know the answer is rhetorical, but like, why, how can people in regulatory agencies look at the data that has been collected from so many different sources that all says the exact same thing and say, that's just your opinion though? It's like, no.
I think I think it was Katie Daffin who spoke that's from the FTC on Friday at the conference.
Yeah, Katie.
And it was great to hear from her. She had some really good info, but just what blew me away were the numbers that she brought, like the various different types of frauds and scams that are reported that we don't even think of because they have nothing to do. They're not on our radar at all. They're getting tens of thousands, like of reports of fraud.
Yeah.
Constantly in so many different areas. Like to us, all of this is really obvious, but they don't have enough people to look into every category as deeply as we would want them to, considering it's our focus.
Right.
If you look at that pie, our slice of it is T9C, is.
And I'm not saying that the FTC has all of their shit together or anything, but in their defense, like, they really do need they need more people. And I think to me that starts with like education and getting younger people interested in regulating things like the boring stuff. And that means reaching out to younger people and getting
Yeah,
this
the
information to
squeaky
them.
wheel reporting, which hence I have everything at the bottom of, like I always have to report, because if we're not reporting, then the FTC has nothing to go on. They're not going to just be like, you know what? I think we're going to go after Monap today. Yeah, let's do that. They've got to build that case up, and they can't do it if people aren't saying anything.
Right.
And we all know that people just generally who have been damaged by MLMs financially are the least likely to speak out. And so all of us encourage people to report, to speak out, because it is their voice and their stories.
Yes, and the reason that people are less likely to speak out is that shame that's associated with the quote unquote failure. And either they don't realize it's a scam and they just think that they're a failure, or they realize it's a scam and then they're too embarrassed to say, hey, I got scammed. Right? Like that's kind of the problem that we face, where it crosses over into the other side of like cultishness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting topic, and I especially with education, right? So it's like, I know that the governing agencies and the rules that we put in and reporting and everything is great, but it can only do so much. And so like the other side of that coin is education. Talking about doing the things that we're already doing, and the majority of the community, everybody that's here as well, understanding and spreading the message too. But I just, for me, like, I think it is important, like you're saying, Michelle, to like reach younger generations, because I know we're never going to stomp MLM to dust. It's just not, it's just not going to happen. So we have to push forward regulation and rules, and then also on the back end, educate, so that when people come across these, they go, oh no, this is a scam, next, and they just avoid them altogether. And if people are no longer joining the scams will no longer exist, because
And
there's nobody in it anymore.
That the idea for the like a push toward that kind of education and target audience and everything, that kind of came out as a theme from the general Q&A session yesterday, the second day of the conference. Like, that kind of was like a aha moment for me. Like I didn't even see that was the direction we it wasn't really on my radar. And
Right.
coming out of that, I'm like, this is what we should be doing.
Yeah, there were a lot of takeaways for me too. I took a lot of notes while listening to the sessions, and wrote down a lot of email addresses, and there were people that reached out to me, and I was like, yes, we should talk about this. We should do an episode on this. So I'm really, really excited to sort of dive in and do a lot more of the deeper education with a lot more of these experts, and talk about some of these tangents that show up in so many episodes, and we just don't really have a full grasp on what the how and the why. And I'm really excited for that as well. Again, just more education pushing forward.
Well, I think it's important for us to talk about, to broaden beyond just the MLM scam. It's just like all the different types of
Financial
scams.
literacy, right?
Yeah, financial literacy.
Prepare them financially, prepare them for
Business,
manipulation tactics
ethics.
as well, and do those things without ever even mentioning multi-level marketing, and then they'll know it's a scam when they encounter it. They won't need to be told it's a pyramid scheme, because they will just know. And
just very
I just
broad
wanted to say,
spectrum red flags.
Yeah, exactly. Paige, I want to answer Paige the puppet.
At the end of the conference, about ways to be able to, like, how do we educate? So that is something that we will be working on behind the scenes. There'll be a group of us that will be getting together and talking about putting a program together.
And that's what I wanted to say. Paige the puppet said, I wish I could figure out a way to create a program to teach kids. And I think that you should reach out to us. Reach out to Alonda or me on Instagram, or whatever, because a lot of people have said the same thing. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to like connect all the dots to get everyone
Yeah.
who has the same vision together. Someone's going to be able to do
Absolutely.
something, you know?
I think we can definitely put out some call to action about educators that want to educate kids and want to sort of maybe make things that are extracurricular type things that teachers could add into their existing curriculums and say, oh, today we're going to learn about these. I don't know. I think there's a lot there. And I think if we have a lot of really great educators who are anti-MLM and are in that space and understand how to educate on that, there's I'm not in that space, but I mean, I'm happy to facilitate and help you guys find people for sure.
And yes, Roberta and Michelle are also on YouTube. Roberta has a podcast, Life After MLM, and Michelle's channel is Spoon Stop, that's your website also. And Michelle is the one that put together FTC Change or MLM Change. MLM Change during the commenting period, and I would always mention that website. She is the person that put the bomb ass website together. That was just so amazing. And she really did. She brought together so many resources for us.
Yeah, so many people helped
There were
with that, and
over-
Michelle built it beautifully.
Yeah, there were more than 20 contributors, 20 that I could name, and a bunch of anonymous people. Like all of that was it was a group effort. I just kind of put pen to the paper, you know. I made it available.
And both of them and Jessica, they all were participated in the conference yesterday. So, and so
oh yes, and Jessica did tell us she had to drop. So
yeah,
no,
Jessica did have to leave.
I figured she did. So, but I mean, I think the conference was absolutely phenomenal. I did reach out to Bill and let him know that I've received nothing but, great feedback.
Really, really wonderful.
And I did let people know that, we were doing this today, people who weren't able to make it, because I do think that this speech is very critical to hear and such an important message. And I mean, it's something that I can listen to multiple times because there's so much.
I have. Because I was there.
Yeah, I was there too. So we've heard it twice now. We'll be able to hear it again and again. There's a lot, and I'm hoping you guys may want to come back after the, all those conferences up, and we can dive into something else. But there were some things that Jason, put out there. I mean, he did some really interesting stuff that I was like, wow, this really needs to be discussed.
I did not expect him. His whole presentation and the Q&A and everything. Wonderful.
Really great.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, I could sit here and just talk to you guys forever because, I enjoy your company so much, and y'all are just, amazing women, and I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate everybody coming here and, listening to us and hearing what, Bonnie had to say. So thank you so much for being here. And if you guys just hang out as I say goodbye to everyone, and we'll say our little goodbyes and all of that. Thank you, everybody who participated in the comments, and thank you to our lurkers. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm working on a recorded video this week, and I'll probably do a live stream. I don't know what I have planned this week, but I'll be doing something. Anyway, have a great day, and don't forget, you are beautiful, and I love you. Goodbye.